We're live?
We are live on the Pinfall Wrap-Up.
All right. Thank you for checking out the Pinfall Wrap-Up. I'm your host, Andrew Karachi, alongside
Robert Roth.
And are we recording on Audacity now?
Or we are back on Audacity.
Okay, so there might be a little bit of choppiness
at the beginning of this
episode. Because we had some problems. It wouldn't upload twice.
Well, YouTube was kind of chugging to get started. I don't know what was going on there, and then Audacity was fine. I just paused Audacity while I was figuring out what was wrong with YouTube. So I think we're on track now. We're good to go.
Okay. What do we have in store tonight?
Our review of the August 15th edition of Monday Night Raw, and then we get into the following night, August 16th SmackDown. We got some news from the world of professional wrestling, some suspensions that just kind of happened before we went live here, and as always, much, much more.
And for the people who are, I'm going to do this old school. For the people who can't find our podcast, or for the people who are trying to find our podcast and having difficulties finding it, or they're trying to tell their friends where they can find our podcast, or if they're crossing a bus and they're just or crossing the street and a bus is about to hit them and they're trying to figure out what podcast they're going to listen to before they get hit, how do they find us?
All right, easiest way.
How do you save their lives?
How do we save it? Obviously, if you're listening right now, YouTube. Otherwise, the podcast app on Apple, search for Pinfall Wrap-Up. Something's going on with Stitcher. We're kind of sort of up on Stitcher somewhat, maybe sort of kind of. Possibly.
I don't know if 50 got on there.
See, I feel like Stitcher is 1 week behind at the moment, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But this app, Podomatic, we are on Facebook. Somewhat, sort of, kind of. We have a presence on Facebook, but YouTube and the podcast app on Apple would be the absolute easiest way.
The Facebook page, I post the episodes, and it's straight through Podomatic.
Yeah.
So
which is, there's nothing wrong with it. We talk a lot of crap about the Podomatic, service and everything. Honestly, it's not a whole lot different than YouTube. If you're listening to it, if you keep it up and running, it plays,
right?
So it's one way to listen to us. So if you don't have an Apple device and you want to listen to us, go
or
through that, or YouTube.
Or if you have YouTube Red,
where you can play it in the background.
Correct. If I would recommend if you're connecting to the Facebook page, that's how you're checking out the show. And if you have an Apple device, definitely use the TuneIn app on your iPhone or iOS device, like I did. iOS.
iOS is the asshole operating system.
Okay.
That we do not sell or condone using.
So the iOS system,
correct.
I would strongly recommend that. That is a better format for listening to podcasts, and it's a good start place where you can find other podcasts such as Stone Cold's podcast. They're on there. You have Jericho's podcast, Vince Russo's.
Yeah,
the brand.
Everyone goes through the Apple podcast thing.
Right.
Everyone, absolutely everyone, every podcast. There's very few that don't. They have pretty much everything on there. Ric Flair's, Chris Jericho's, ours, Stone Cold's. I'm gonna throw ours in the middle.
Right.
Of that. Well,
here's another thing.
Jim Ross.
And the shows that are similar to us, like Ring Rust or Whole Effing Show, which are probably the top two ones up there. Maybe Don Tony or whatever the fuck his name is. Gives a fuck. He gets buried a lot. But those podcasts, the Whole Effing Show is not on iTunes anymore. They're just exclusively through YouTube. So we killed them off.
Good. Oh, I know who else isn't through iTunes. Dave Meltzer. You have to go through his webpage.
Well, fuck him.
Which you have to pay
a
premium for. So if you want to go and pay $10 a month for Dave Meltzer's Scoops, you can go do that.
Now it's time to pay our bills. So if you want to donate to the podcast or make the podcast, but no, we're just kidding. We actually don't have a what's the site? The Patreon, and there's another one too. The old one, Kickstarter. We don't.
They were hawking a Kickstarter for a while. Were they really trying to?
I think so.
Fucking God.
I think they were doing
GoFundMe and all that stupid shit. All right.
I know the Angry Video Game Nerd, or James Rolfe, he funded his whole movie through Kickstarter, and he got something like $500,000 or something. He got from Kickstarter, and when you watch the movie, he probably spent maybe $10,000. They could even blow up a real car. They used literally a Micro Machine car or a Hot Wheel. That's what they blew up. Yep. So there you go.
That was a fun.
I thought his movie was, it was what it was. The first act we thought was pretty strong, and then the end of the movie was kind of dumb. But that's my opinion. What else do we got? Where do we want to start? We want to start with the news.
We can throw some SummerSlam predictions in there too.
Yeah, we'll talk some SummerSlam.
Or we can kind of get into that since it's divided up between 2 shows now.
Right.
We might as well kind of drop some predictions in there as we're kind of covering those shows.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's start with the news. Alberto Del Rio gets suspended for the wellness policy. Clearly, I'm actually not surprised on this, and I would have to say he's probably getting released very shortly.
Well, he doesn't want to be there anyway.
Right. And that story was breaking about that. And then the other one with Paige, that one surprised me a little bit. And because of the relationship with Paige and Alberto Del Rio, how serious is it really? And will it come to a point where she leaves just like AJ left?
I think if Del Rio goes, she's going to go.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
She's like a huge, she used to be huge on the show, and she's not even on the show anymore.
Yeah, and she kind of had a kind of major role on Total Divas also.
Right.
Here's the thing. Like, a lot of these stars, and this is actually one of the things we were talking about a little bit before the show, too. Okay, so a wrestler right now can make far more in the indies than they can in WWE. Unless you're, like, a top guy. A top guy is by far going to make, way more than you possibly ever dream of making in the indies. But if you're kind of a low mid-card guy, or even a guy getting like a little bit of a push, like you're definitely going to make more in the indies. Ryback, for instance, he is charging $4,500 per appearance. And he's booked every weekend, like for the next 2 years. So, like, think about that once. You're booked 2 or 3 days every weekend. You're pulling in $9,000 to $13,500 for a weekend of work. Multiply that by 52. You're coming out pretty good.
And you can spend time with your family.
Exactly.
And that kind of stuff.
Exactly. You have a much lighter schedule. And usually in the indies, a big star like that is going to go over. If they're paying $4,500 for you, they're probably not going to have you lose. They're probably going to make you look good, and maybe they'll have you get their champion over or something like that. But for the most part, you're gonna look good. You're gonna have some credibility. But the main thing, you're gonna be home with your family. You don't have to work 5 nights a week. You're only working 2 or 3, and you're pulling in double the money that WWE is paying you. So I think there'd be tons of opportunity, tons of potential, I should say, for Paige to make whatever she's pulling in the WWE. I don't know what a WWE a woman performer gets, but I would guess it's somewhere around like what a lower. I
think Paige draws in significantly more money than maybe
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, I think she gets paid pretty good. If you're top star for women's, especially if you're doing like the Total Divas and all that type of stuff, I think that she makes pretty good money, and she will lose out compared to what she probably made in WWE.
See, I don't know.
Because women wrestlers in the indies, I don't think are as important. I think Paige would draw
in the indies. I
don't know. I mean, maybe she will, but like for certain, like maybe she goes back to England or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like if, for example, let's say like, we'll look at AJ for example. I don't think she doesn't. I don't think she wrestles at all, right?
No,
she doesn't do anything.
No,
but like she lost significant money because now she has no income, and CM Punk's the pure income. I don't know I think she sells pocket watches or whatever. Not pocket watches, but
for the train conductor market out there,
for the Titus O'Neil train. But I mean, like the whatever. But the thing is, I think will probably lose way more than Del Rio will.
Yeah,
Del Rio's fine because Del Rio, they paid a lot of money to get him back. Reason the way I see it.
Well,
there was no reason to bring him back.
There was a lot of potential there.
Yeah, they just didn't want to do anything.
Fucking lost it all.
They destroyed it, putting him with Zeb Coulter, which made no fucking sense. And then they did that Mex America thing.
Yeah.
Which that lasted like what, a month, and they got rid of that right away. Then they put him in the League of Nations, which I thought wasn't terrible. Like,
Yeah.
if it was booked correctly, that could have been a legit, like a Shield thing.
Firmly behind the whole League of Nations thing the whole time.
You had 4 incredible performers in it. You had Sheamus, who's, I think, severely underrated as a performer, just as a star in general, who's completely underutilized.
Sheamus should be your fill-in main eventer.
Right. Sheamus should always be towards the top of the card. Rusev, who is unbelievable, like what he can do for his size, and just for him, just Rusev in general. And then you have Alberto Del Rio, who's a great worker, a great in-ring performer, and he's got like that like prick attitude that you really can use and utilize in any situation. And he can wrestle with anybody and look credible. And then you had Wade Barrett, who was, I guess, the afterthought that everyone gave up on. But another guy, holy shit, another guy who's very, very another underrated guy who could have been great. So you had 4, like it was not a bad idea to put the 4 together. Just their idea of why they put them together was kind of dumb, and they did nothing with them. They put them over the New Day at WrestleMania for no tag titles, and then they jobbed them out to the Shawn Michaels crew at WrestleMania immediately. So what was the fucking point of that?
Yeah, WrestleMania this will be known as the mistake WrestleMania.
Right.
Where they overturned every decision they made at that Mania.
And they did the same thing at WrestleMania 2000. So, I mean, like, so WrestleMania 2000, and then 13 years later or 12 years later, they did the same thing. They overturned everything again. So, because WrestleMania 2000, you had Triple H walk out with the title when they just gave it back. They just gave it to The Rock at Backlash, the very next pay-per-view. And then you had Jericho and Benoit walk out with the European and Intercontinental title. You really think about it. I think Jericho walked out with the European title or whatever that night, and he was supposed to be in the main event at WrestleMania, and they replaced him with McFoley. And like, oh, we're sorry. Here, have the European title.
D'Lo Brown's like, you keep that thing clean for me.
But at least he was in a match with Benoit and Angle, which was probably the best match of the night to begin with. So, I mean, at least if I'm Jericho, I think maybe I'd rather be in that match because he wasn't going to go over WrestleMania 2000. Right. There's no way. They were just he was just going to be a guy that put in that match. And, later on he got his WrestleMania's main events. He had the one with Punk, even though Punk doesn't declare that a main event. Still a fucking main event. If your build is one of the top matches of the card, you're a main event. Maybe you're not the last match of the night. But WWE over the years have changed the philosophy of what a main event is. Now they like to go like 3 main events. You have like for the SummerSlam, you have 3 main events, and then you have semi-main events.
I think they put the Lesnar out one on last.
I think that'll be the last match. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think that they will put the Universal title after the WWE title.
I think so
too. Because it's a new belt. And
it's for the flagship show.
Yep. And I think they're going to open up with. I think the SummerSlam is going to run long, first off. I think it's going to go over 3 hours. And I think in your pre-show matches are going to be that tag team match they just made, the women's tag match. That'll be one of them. And then they'll probably have another, maybe I wrote them down on my card. You know what I think is going to be the opener? Cass versus Jericho. I think that'll be the opener. And I wonder if they're going to put the Intercontinental Championship on the pre-show. I think they will. I don't think it'll be part of the main show. If they're going to go only 3 hours. Unless they plan to go 4. But I think that'll happen because I look at some of these matches and you have Roman Reigns, Rusev's not going to be a pre-show match. John Cena, AJ Styles is definitely not going to be an opener or a pre-show match. The tag team championships, no. The women's championship, absolutely not. Not the way they're trying to declare their women's division. And then you have 2 matches added. You have Cesaro versus Sheamus. That was an added best of 7 series they're starting.
Yeah.
Even though they've already had 3 matches. So we're just going to pretend like those didn't exist. And what does the winner get in this?
Bragging rights.
That's the problem I have with that.
Now, can we bring back the bragging rights pay-per-view?
I think they will bring it back.
Yeah?
I don't think it'll be called that, but that concept I think is going to be what Survivor Series is going to be. They're gonna do a bunch of Raw versus SmackDown matches.
Yeah.
Also, SmackDown announced that their next pay-per-view after the September 11th one is going to be called No Mercy.
Oh.
So No Mercy is coming back.
So is it every other month now?
Yeah. So, no, what it sounds like to me is they're going to do 2 pay-per-views a month.
Oh, God.
I think they're going to do a SmackDown pay-per-view every month and then a Raw pay-per-view every month, every 4 weeks. But they're going to, like, SmackDown's going to have, because they have their pay-per-view SummerSlam, right? Which is, like, and their next pay-per-view is I don't know what it's called. Is it No Way Out or something like that?
It's too early for No Way Out.
They put No Way Out last year in the middle of, they changed the whole philosophy of where they're putting pay-per-views now. I know No Way Out's always the pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
So they're going to run 24 pay-per-views a year?
I don't know. I think the SmackDown ones are going to be network exclusive shows. I don't know. It sounds like they're going to go 2 a month.
Oh my God.
Every 2 weeks there's going to be a pay-per-view.
They're going to bankrupt themselves.
Well, they don't have to go through the pay-per-view supplier. They could just, it's a
They
glorified
barely
house.
do anyway.
Right. It's a glorified house show. But all the production you got to put into it and make it, but it's not going to be on TV, so you don't have to pay that cost. It's going to be,
if they're just banking on the arena paying for it. I mean,
right,
like the
right.
For it, but
and I think they'll up their subscriptions by doing that.
I don't
think so either.
I think you're going to oversaturate and you're going to make the pay-per-views less meaningful.
I think so too. I hope they're going every other. I really do.
I feel like you should stick. I feel like honestly, deep down, I feel like 12 is too many. With two brands, you can maintain that 12.
Right.
I think that finally justifies the need for 12 because I don't feel like there's been a need for 12.
No.
I think it probably should have been about every 6 weeks.
Well, we both grew up with, for the most part, 12 pay-per-views, 1 per month. We kind of grew up under that because we both grew up during the Attitude Era, like when we started watching wrestling, and they had 12 back then, and it worked. But I always felt like every pay-per-view had meaningful. Like if you asked me what pay-per-view did John Cena drop the title to, the U.S. title, I can't even tell you. I just found out last night it was Hell in a Cell, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you if I didn't find out last week. You want to know what part of that is, though?
And you might disagree until you actually think about it. Every pay-per-view, when you're watching it, it doesn't feel any different than a Raw or SmackDown.
Yes.
So that being said, the set design is exactly the same. The graphics are the only thing that's slightly different. The Raw, it doesn't stand out in your mind. Like part of what went into a pay-per-view was you were getting a unique set, and you'd like go in and say, "Oh shit, it's a pay-per-view! Wow, look at that! That's kind of a cool set. Oh, look how it seemed different." And even when they do those fucking one-off things that they were doing on the WWE Network, like Beast from the East or Live from Madison Square Garden or any of that stuff, they were using like the house show set, but on like a bigger stage, and even that made those feel like above what a standard pay-per-view felt like, just because it was like something different. It was like a different set.
I will agree and disagree to it, like a classic politician would. Yes, I agree. But when I watch pay-per-view, I do feel like it's different from Raw and SmackDown, but I don't feel like Hell in a Cell is any different from TLC, any different from Royal Rumble, any different from WrestleMania. Well, WrestleMania is the only one that looks a little different.
Yeah, WrestleMania has a completely different feel, but I think part of that's a different set too.
Right. Well, they're always in a huge fucking stadium too for WrestleMania.
Correct.
But I think like I can tell you what pay-per-view Kurt Angle won the title back in 99 or 2000. 2000 it was. It was No Mercy because I remember the set. Because No Mercy was a different set than Armageddon from No Way Out, from Backlash,
Imagine
from
if that
Judgment
would have
Day.
just been the rehash of the Raw set over and over.
It wouldn't have meant anything.
Mm-hmm.
It would have lost all meaning.
Correct.
So yeah. So the I think what I really miss is they put effort into the sets.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get that because the company doesn't make as much money as. Well, I don't know if it does or not. I think it's about the same, right? Does it actually make significantly less?
more than they've ever made. In the
Right,
history
because
of anything
they're a publicly traded company.
They're publicly traded. They make tons off their movie division. They make tons off their merchandising division. Way more than they've ever made.
You know what Vince Russo said about how he would make how he would make wrestling better? He said not make it a publicly traded company again and go back to being privately owned and how it was in the late 90s.
Why?
He says because you'll have a better product.
Why?
Because his fucking stupid ass sometimes always, and I don't mean like disrespect like that, but it's the fact like he thinks that ratings is the one thing that matters. Who's watching? Well, yes, that matters, but also matters who's spending money.
Right.
How do you make your money?
As long as you are, I think WWE's approach is they're catering to the very specific niche market right now that is willing to spend money on their WWE Network subscriptions and merchandise.
The people who are watching now are wrestling fans. The casual fan, they're younger. So you have your John Cena, your Randy Orton for your younger fans. Your more extreme wrestling fans want to see Kevin Owens, want to see Sami Zayn. I can't believe I just said that. Want to see, guys like that, guys that can wrestle. They're not. And then you have the audience that doesn't give a fuck about the story and just wants to watch matches. Well, I have friends at work that tell me that they won't watch. They watch SmackDown because they have longer and better matches. They won't watch Raw because it's too much drama. Which I think it's switched now. I think they switched it, but I mean, like they're not into the Vince Russo like storylines. They want to just watch matches, and you have those audience. You have that audience, and that's why you had SmackDown was different from Raw. And let's see how it plays out. How they're going to do the shows. Right now, they kind of feel kind of the same still.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit for them. Right now, it's almost like two train tracks that were running, side by side for how long, and now they finally split apart. They're going to be really close for a while, but as time goes on, they're going to get further and further apart, and they're both going to have a very unique feel. I think they're doing the right thing, giving each one a similar but unique set, unique graphics, unique roster. Like
SmackDown brought back the stat line. You remember when a guy would come out and they tell you their stats? Yep, they brought that back.
Yeah, it's on the I noticed that it has a different feel. The show has a different feel to it. So I think they're doing the right thing there.
SmackDown, to me, kind of when I watch it, I feel like I'm watching a lower production kind of show. Like I feel like I'm watching more of an indie show with John Cena on it. It's weird. Like when I watch SmackDown, I feel like I'm not watching WWE.
Do you feel like you're watching TNA? Because I feel like I'm watching TNA.
Yes, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, because it feels different from Raw.
That's exactly how I felt like when I was watching Thunder way back when. The much forgotten about Thunder, where it felt like the completely fucking D version of Nitro.
Well, that's the B show, but I mean, SmackDown. Yes, it's technically still a B show.
No, it was split, but not split.
Right, I know. Yeah. They were talking like Hogan said he refused to work on it. Like people refused to go to that show.
Bret Hart was brought in just for Thunder.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't the Nitro star. He was the Thunder star.
Right.
Yeah.
But I get what, and that was towards the end of their demise too. Like that was like 99. I think they brought in Thunder 98 or whatever. Like they were
98.
They were on their way down. So.
Right before WWE brought in SmackDown.
Right.
Yeah.
And see with I don't know, SmackDown. It kind of feels like TNA. It still feels a little better because I'm not. When I watch Raw, I feel like it drags a lot. When I watch when watching SmackDown, I don't feel like I just wasted 2 hours. Actually, it feels a lot shorter. That helps.
Part of that is because you expect it to be so much longer because of Raw.
Exactly. I feel like it's going to be an all-night thing.
Oh, fuck me. I got to hold. Wait. It's almost done. Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. SmackDown has been kind of weak the last couple of weeks as far as an overall production show, but I'm going to give it time, and I think it's going to be good.
The roster is too thin.
It's very thin right now. And with them losing Shelton Benjamin, I think that really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think someone's going to come over.
Del Rio.
Oh, yeah, they just lost Del Rio. Fuck. So, and they weren't doing anything with Del Rio except putting him in main events.
Yeah.
And having him job. So I don't know. I think SmackDown should get Sheamus and Cesaro. I think that'll help. Raw doesn't
too early
need,
for a trade. You break the legitimacy of the
I know,
brand split.
but you don't need them over on Raw.
You quickly place Heath Slater on SmackDown.
He's already on there, technically. He just hasn't signed his contract yet. But I mean, like with SmackDown, I mean, maybe if they got Cesaro and Sheamus, or even if they just got Kevin Owens and Jericho, because they don't need to be on Raw.
No, keep them on Raw. Keep the. I don't want to have to watch SmackDown.
Right, but I mean, like if they got Owens, or if they got Cesaro, or if they got like Sheamus, because I want Sheamus and Cesaro over on SmackDown.
See,
and you guys can take fucking Cena back, because I don't want him.
No, here's the thing.
We'll keep Orton, because
SmackDown got all the people I don't care to see,
correct,
with the exception of AJ Styles.
Right.
The only person
and they made him a bitch.
The only person that SmackDown got that I would have wanted to see kept on Raw is AJ.
What about Bray Wyatt?
Fuck him. I'll take him. He bored the shit out of me. So
really? I liked him.
The assortment that SmackDown has, I have no interest in even fucking watching it, because they're all the people I couldn't stand when I'd see them on Raw.
Well,
so
we're gonna prove you wrong. And
are you backing Team SmackDown?
I am the SmackDown.
Team SmackDown.
I am the SmackDown brand.
You're gonna end up going up against Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho.
We have the forgotten about guys, but we're gonna repackage them and we're gonna make them stars, because they already have that. We already have that connection with the audience of them knowing who our guys are, like Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. They know our guys, and we're going to make We're gonna make Dolph Ziggler credible again. We're going to make Dean Ambrose good again. We're going to use John Cena as our money draw, so we at least have people watching the show. That's what he's utilized for. And he's going to put over AJ Styles at SummerSlam. And Randy Orton's going to go away for a while and come back. We're going to use him more as a main attraction. And actually, we may even give Orton the title. Great. No, I'm kidding. But that's what we're like. And we have Daniel Bryan, who's also another draw for our show.
Have fun with that.
And we're gonna get Kurt Angle.
SmackDown is definitely getting Kurt Angle.
We're gonna get Kurt Angle, and we're gonna trade you Kane back, and we're gonna get because
I
didn't even know he was on the show, but Kane got drafted like 14th, and he hasn't even been on Raw or SmackDown. He's SmackDown.
Raw got Big Show, didn't he?
Yeah, Raw got Big Show. SmackDown got Kane.
Big Show's retiring.
Right. So, good pick on that one,
Big Show's retiring after WrestleMania.
And we're going to establish our women's division by not establishing our women's division. And we don't have to have a 3-hour show where it's a drags and drags.
I don't think Raw drags
anymore. And when you guys
we have fucking Titus O'Neil.
And when you guys
have Titus O'Neil.
When you guys misuse Jericho and misuse Sheamus and Cesaro, they're going to come to our show, and we're going to make them great again. Yeah.
Yeah, SmackDown's a fucking train wreck right now. It is a fucking dumpster fire of injustice.
It's not bad. You're not giving it a chance.
Raw is doing nothing, but I'm enjoying Raw because I feel like Raw, like I was always concerned of how Raw was going to shed the dead weight. How is Raw going to do it? How is it going to get rid of Cena, who's destroying the fucking roster? And how are they going to shed the fucking dead weight that's holding the roster down that they can't do anything with? And they killed two birds with one stone. They shifted SmackDown up, tried to make like some kind of greaseball B-team product. They're like, here you go, John Cena, you head up this piece of shit with all of these fucking has-beens. Great. SmackDown's gone. Raw is just focusing on the core. Raw is like fucking hip, streamlined. It makes sense. Good stories now, good matches. Random people are going over. You're not feeding someone to Randy Orton. You're not feeding someone to John Cena. You don't need to provide people with sacrifices on the top of the roster.
We haven't fed Orton
the champion
anyone
is
significant.
A complete joke because we don't have a champion, and the champion we have is fucking better than Dean Ambrose.
I would agree to that. When Dolph Ziggler gets the title, he's going to make it credible again.
Oh, then you have successfully destroyed and recreated the World Heavyweight title. You gave SmackDown the World Heavyweight title, and then Raw's going to get John Cena back at some point.
Good. Take him.
So I think once he goes out for his 3 months when he comes back, he's going to be on Raw.
I think he'll be traded to Raw for Sheamus, Cesaro, and Owens. Yeah. We're getting Owens.
I don't want to lose Owens, but
We're going to get Owens.
or Sheamus.
Sheamus we're getting because Sheamus isn't doing anything on Raw.
He's losing a lot.
Yeah, he's going to come on our show and be a fucking monster heel. He's going to be our Braun Strowman, who you guys are going to use to feed to Cena.
Braun Strowman's fucking amazing.
No.
I almost saw it coming where they were going to have him align himself with Rusev because they played the fucking Braun Strowman promo or the vignette right before the Rusev Roman Reigns match, which was fucking incredible.
It was pretty good.
Match of the night, match of the last 3 weeks right there. Like, that was a good match. That was a really good match. Oh, there were a lot of good matches. A lot of good stories. I was pretty happy with Raw. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm going to start watching Raw live, and I might not fast forward through things. Like, I fast forwarded through a little bit. Not nearly as much as I usually do, but it's getting good. SmackDown, my DVR didn't record. So
right.
Yeah.
SmackDown is doing their own thing.
Yes, they are, and aren't they special? You're like a child with Asperger's.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem we have, because
there's just one.
Our GM wasted picks on Orton and Cena, which really killed us because we can't do anything with either of them.
Like Daniel Bryan would really pick John Cena and Randy Orton.
I know.
Like, why would he?
So we're looking at options of maybe getting a new GM. He's probably getting fired because those were some really, really dud picks, and now we have to try to trade them for prospects. But we're going to get Samoa Joe when he comes up, and we're going to we're getting Samoa Joe.
I think when they bring him up, he's going to Raw.
We're going to get Samoa Joe.
There's room for him in Raw.
Samoa Joe's going to come up, and we're going to make him world champion.
And, see, here's the problem. You guys are getting all of the except for Jinder Mahal. You guys, which we got the good one. You guys are getting all.
We have Chuck fucking Norris on our side.
You guys are getting what's his fuck who got released out of nowhere like 3 years ago. Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah.
You guys getting fucking Kurt Hawkins.
And we have Rhino. Don't forget about Rhino.
And Rhino. You get Shelton Benjamin. That fizzled out.
Yeah.
And there's one more in the pipeline for you guys. I can't remember who it is. MVP didn't even want to come back and be on SmackDown.
We don't want him.
No, they did. He was like,
our GM wanted him. I don't speak for our GM.
They said absolutely. He said absolutely fucking not. Who's another one who didn't want to come back? So it was him. He was a huge one. Tommy Dreamer. They offered Tommy Dreamer.
He's already got like some kind of weird contract with WWE.
He didn't want to do it. He said fuck no because he's making way too much for an appearance. He makes like fucking $3,000 or something for a match. He said no. And he has his own little wrestling federation thing that he has. So he said fuck no.
We had Mikey O'Shea.
Good luck with that.
Speaking of which,
he actually take Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. I think we have her.
No, she's
not Raw.
She's It's funny because when you watch Raw, you have two feeders. You have people that get feeders. You get Braun Strowman, who has someone fed to him, and then you get Nia Jax, who has someone fed to her.
We have Orton, who is very hungry.
And you have Orton, who you don't get local talent, a living member of the roster, the active roster. So he requires that sacrifice every week. So that's a little more.
He didn't beat Fandango. They protected Fandango, and they protected Heath Slater on SmackDown. He won. Remember, it goes under the record book. Heath Slater defeated Randy Orton.
Orton's taking some fucking mean losses going into this match with Randy Orton, or with Brock Lesnar. Like, he is... I mean, come on. Fandango and... I was going to say Heath Ledger.
Fandango didn't win.
Pretty sure Randy Orton won.
Fandango didn't lose. He got protected because of the interference. So he was protected. They protected Fandango. And we're going to turn him into... we have Fandango. We have Tyler Breeze that we can really utilize to their fullest potential.
And have him job to American Alpha? Okay.
We have American Alpha.
You understand, American Alpha is like the saving grace of SmackDown. And they're not even that good.
I don't think they're that good either. I'd rather have the other tag team from NXT.
I think SmackDown should get the Hardy Boys. Matt and Jeff over. That would actually make it interesting. And not being facetious.
I don't think they're coming over. Broken Matt, he'd have to be Broken Matt.
Mm-hmm.
So he might actually be broken.
They could just bring both of them over as is and acknowledge everything with TNA, and this would be the first time it would actually work to acknowledge everything with TNA. Because you could just bring this whole fucking dramatic storyline over from TNA. Because it pretty much is a continuation of a story that WWE had already started. So you just bring back this fucking clusterfuck, and you just let them go to town. Why not?
We know Jeff Hardy is now with Matt again.
He works for Matt Hardy.
Right, he's Brother Neuro, and he's no longer Jeff Hardy anymore. He's in that character now.
Right.
He's Broken Jeff now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yep.
And we're going to get Eli Drake.
You know, if WWE did get Eli Drake, he's definitely going to Raw.
They're going to put him on SmackDown because he's a TNA guy.
He can talk.
Right. But he's a TNA guy.
He's a draw.
So is Robert Roode, and he's an NXT.
Yeah,
so is Samoa Joe.
SmackDown. They'll throw both of those. Samoa Joe might go to Raw.
I think no,
Roode
because
is going to SmackDown.
I think they're really trying to make SmackDown a legit show. Like, if we're being real here, they're not just going to load up Raw and then give SmackDown nothing.
Well, that's what they just did. Raw is fucking stacked.
In our eyes, they are. But they have the two biggest draws in WWE in the last 10 years in Orton and Cena. So, I mean, are the two biggest stars. Orton's not really a draw, but he's still a recognizable name. So
we have Big Show. And has anyone called the Great Khali? Because if Big Show's out, they need a monster fucking heel face. So we can get Great Khali and Jinder Mahal back together. We could do like an Indian Express kind of thing.
We're probably going to get Nakamura as well.
I think he's on Raw. I think we're getting everyone worthwhile. I'm pretty sure Raw is getting everyone worthwhile. I'm not kidding. I will be shocked if SmackDown ever gets anyone.
What's the point?
Worthwhile.
What's the point of the brand extension then? If they're just
to clean everything up so Raw can be a fucking juggernaut.
But what's the point of having SmackDown? It's not gonna draw anything if you just have if you have a bunch of jobbers on the show.
You essentially have your back burner.
So it's back to what it was before.
Correct. It's exactly.
So what's the point of it?
Because you have a back burner, and the only thing that will keep the ratings up is the fact that it's live. Before it was extremely stale because you could read the results 3 days ahead of time, 4 days ahead of time, or whatever. If you were really on the ball, you could read them Tuesday night, and then it was a shit show anyway, so you really didn't care. Now at least it's live, so you can't read the results.
We have Baron Corbin.
So when Randy Orton, when he takes his time off in about a week because, what a great star there is.
He's probably going to feud with Baron Corbin and completely bury him. That's probably what's going to happen.
Barry Corbin. So, yeah, it's... oh, my God. Can you imagine? Who would carry that one?
Orton.
Oh, my God.
Orton's not a bad caller. He's just like, do this for me. Do this for me.
You're stupid. You're fucking stupid. And he starts kicking Kofi Kingston in the head. That's how that one goes. So I don't think he'd kick Baron Corbin in the head though, because Baron Corbin might kill Randy Orton. He's a big fucking boy. He's like 6'8".
So
you saw that match, right? Where he killed Kofi Kingston for botching a move.
Yeah.
Where he yelled at him and told him how fucking stupid he was.
Orton.
Yeah, he went off and said, "You're fucking stupid! You're fucking stupid!" And you could hear it. And he was just kicking Kofi Kingston in the head the whole fucking match. Yeah, that happened. That was 2010 or somewhere, 2009, 2010.
Some other news. Did you check out the Ambrose and Austin podcast?
Yeah, I listened to the first. I want to say I listened to about the first half of it, but obviously not the part where you said it started getting good.
Well, maybe you just didn't catch it.
Or I'm going to start it over tonight.
Right.
Listen to it, or I'll listen to it on my way home from
because
the podcast.
There's a complete disconnect between Austin and Ambrose.
It wasn't fluid.
Right. He kept asking questions, and Ambrose didn't really want to answer anything. He talked about how he grew up. He asked him, like, how tough was it growing up on the tough streets of Cincinnati? And then he didn't really answer the question. He started talking about his mom and about how his mom wasn't working and how they provided for the family and how he dropped out of school because he said he was too smart for it. Like, he came off as a loser in this, like...
Yeah, he did. He
came off as a complete loser. And that's what I got from him. I'm like, this guy, he's not a piece of shit. He's just a loser. Like, I don't feel sorry for him because he talks about how much money he makes, which also kind of makes him kind of douchey. And then...
douchebag loser.
Right.
Exactly the words I was going to use to describe him.
Right. He comes off as a douche because he says that he's got money where he doesn't have to let his mom work anymore. And I don't think he ever went back to high school to get a GED or anything. So he dropped out of high school. He didn't specify when. He said that he wrestled in this was great. He said that he wrestled and Stone Cold called him on it right away. He's like, well, you said you had some amateur wrestling background. How come you don't utilize any of that in your matches? He's like, well, he's like, no, you don't do it at all. You don't do anything amateur at all. And he's like, that would actually add some added value to your style. He's like, I don't even know what your style is. What is your style? What are you? What is Dean Ambrose? So he was drilling him hard because I think what happened was, and the interview went kind of sour when he caught Ambrose on a couple of lies, and then because he caught Ambrose on lies, and according to Russo, Austin doesn't like to be lied to and he doesn't like to be worked, and when you do that, he'll call you on it immediately, and I think also because it's on the WWE Network, Austin doesn't really give a shit if he's no longer invited to WWE because he knows it's all bullshit. He'll be welcome back because he's the biggest draw that wrestling's ever had. And if Austin wants to do something for WWE, there's no way Vince is going to say no, even if there's some sour grapes between the two.
Right.
And I'm sure like he has, and according to Russo, Austin had McMahon almost by the balls. Like he could pretty much do whatever he wanted, and Vince would have to let him do it because it's Stone Cold. His star became so big that if he didn't think something worked, he could just write it off and not do it. He didn't say that he did any of that. He said he had that power, where that's the kind of respect that Vince had for him. Where he said that Ambrose, he said I'm not there, but it sounds like Ambrose is Vince's bitch, and that's something you don't want to be as his bitch.
Being his bitch puts you in a completely different role too than Cena, I think.
Right.
I don't think Cena's even submitted. He's pretty much a dog that fucking is rolling over on his back.
Right.
And he did that part of the interview. I don't think I got to. That must have been more towards the second half where he was talking about his relationship with Vince because I didn't get there. But from the part I did hear, it was a very hostile interview.
It was.
I did kind of pick up on that, but I wasn't sure exactly where that was coming from. But the one thing I did notice was he was kind of teetering on the edge of is this his character or is this him or is he just his character? You know what I mean? I didn't know exactly where he was coming from. And then the fact that they're essentially, by putting the championship belt on him, he's essentially the face of the company while he has that belt. And oh my God. You know? Right.
And Austin kind of buried him. There was even a point where he picked apart his promos. He told him that he wanted him to cut a promo on him right now. He called him on the spot. I cut a promo. And then Ambrose talked about well, my promos are a little different. And I was like, okay, tell me then. What's different about them? And what I do is I like to do psychological promos. And he got into the move and he was saying, Austin, I know about you. And there's one thing that all these people in this arena don't know, that you have a bum knee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and I'm going to work that knee. I'm going to beat down on that knee where you can't walk anymore. And win, lose, or draw, you're going home in a hospital. And Austin responded, he's like, well, yeah, well, how are you going to feel when I take this bum knee and shove it straight up your ass and stub a mud hole through you? He's like, so what are you going to say to someone who says that right back to you? Like, Austin went into straight character and, like, squashed everything. Ambrose, like, built it up, and then Austin said, like, 3 words, and it was done.
Vince is like, God damn it, do you want some steroids? Can you come back? You're not a full-time performer. You can take these and not be suspended. The wellness policy doesn't apply to you. And
right.
Just bring Stone Cold back.
So he's just he's like, what's going to stop you from someone like that? And Ambrose said, well, not everyone's Stone. I think he said not everyone's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then he said that he'd kick out of a stunner, and Austin laughed at him. He's like, no, you wouldn't. So to me, it came off as Ambrose kind of being almost kind of like a seasoned veteran, like he thinks he is, but has no idea what it really means to be in Austin's position. Like, Ambrose will never get to Austin's level, and I think Austin knows it, but he wants him to. He was trying to it came off, Austin wasn't being an asshole. Austin was trying to push him to try to be better. And what he told him is, I want you to, in your promos, I want to see more intensity in your promos. He's like, this is a straight-up shoot, kid. He called him kid. He's like, I want to see some more intensity in your promos. I want to make sure, I want to see that you have your delivery. I want to know what your character is, because when I watch the show, I don't know what makes you a lunatic. Why are you a lunatic? What makes you lunatic? You go through the middle ropes, that makes you psychotic? He pretty much like squashed what he is and said that he pretty much wants him to completely redo what he is. And when I watched SmackDown, he took whatever Austin told him and he used it. He changed like a lot of it. Why we all hated Ambrose. I can't hate him by his promo with Ziggler, because he's not. I think that with Ambrose he's going to get away from the whole lunatic fringe and just be Dean Ambrose and be more of a not necessarily psychotic, but very arrogant and cocky. And that's not what a lunatic is. Right. But his character is, if you notice, if you watch SmackDown, it's different than it was when he was on Raw. It's significantly different. And I think it's changing a little bit. Like, he's changing himself. He's resorting more to what he was in the Indies.
What he was in the Indies.
Right. And Austin said
it's not okay on TV.
Right. And that's what Austin said. Like, that's not going to be okay. But he's like, but you can do a version of that. Yeah. You can be a reflection of what that is.
He came out to the ring smoking, and they put the cigarette out on his arm. So.
Yeah. That I don't give a shit kind of attitude. Yeah. And he also talked about, like, when you do matches, how do you come up with matches? How do you come up with finishes? And Ambrose was like, I just kind of and he asked him about Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and how, if they were good friends or not. And he pretty much said they were great friends, but the article that he was getting it from said that he wasn't great friends with them. He just knew them. So it was like he was, like, working Austin. Austin wasn't very happy about it. And Austin picked up on it. And he even asked him, he's like, so is this like going a little south with you? You feel like I'm being hostile with you? Are you feeling that that I'm not being straight with you? And Ambrose said, yeah, I'm a little offended. He said that he was offended, but he appreciates the criticism. Totally kissing Austin's ass at the end of it. So it came off. They patched things up, but I think they might be the last one Austin does, especially with a guy that he doesn't know. I think he might do like he did one with the Big Show, which was actually a pretty good one. Like he might do one with Kane. He might do one with guys he knows.
Well, the Big Show one was on the network.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why he remembered.
I heard the Big Show one, but I didn't think it was on the network.
Yeah,
no.
Remember he went over in the match with the Titans and how they destroyed the Wyatt family back then, and then he went on to he literally ran from there to the back to get on Austin's podcast because he was drinking a beer, but he kept having to cover it up because they couldn't show it up. They couldn't show him drinking a beer on the network, so he kept putting a towel over the beer while he was drinking it. He was drinking one of Austin's beers.
Oh,
and that's when he straight up said that I pretty much suck at wrestling. I only know 2 moves. But his was good. you know, he did one with Triple H was good, one with Vince. Like guys he knows he'll do. But as far as like another Ambrose, or God forbid if he does one with Kevin Owens, or if he does one with
I think the Kevin Owens one would be fine.
I think so too, because I think Austin likes Owens.
I think the Kevin Owens one would be just fine because I think Kevin Owens is what Dean Ambrose thinks he is.
Right.
So, whatever.
But Austin has kind of bashed him when he was with Russo, because Russo doesn't like him. And I'm afraid that Austin might tell him to hit the gym, and I think that might where the conversation can go south. Because Austin, or you know how Owens is, like you know how he's going to act. His character on TV is not too far off how he is. It's a little exaggerated, but
I think at the same time he respects Stone Cold.
Oh,
I think he has insane respect for the people that have been around.
Right.
So,
but if Austin tells him to hit the gym, I think he might get a little offended by that, because that's not who he is.
Right.
That's not his character. And I would hope that Austin would understand that, because telling him to go hit the gym is like telling Big Show to lose weight. That's what Big Show is.
right.
He's big.
Correct.
Kevin Owens is fat. That's who he is. That's his whole persona. That's what makes him what he is. If he was some skinny guy doing the same stuff as Kevin Owens does, it wouldn't get over like it does.
Because you wouldn't expect it.
You wouldn't give a
Correct.
shit. Like,
Correct. It wouldn't be anything special.
right. The fact that a chubby guy is kicking like these guys' asses and it looks legitimate,
Like when he was whooping the fuck out of Big Cass
right.
on Monday Night Raw.
Right. Or how he killed El Generico in Ring of Honor by power bombing him through like 7 tables.
Right. Right.
Or when he turned heel on him.
Good reference, by the way. I'm shocked you used that one.
Right.
Wow.
Well, his original heel turn on him was after a tag match. I think they lost, and he grabbed the microphone and he's like Sammy, or he called him. Obviously, it's not Sammy. Whatever his real name is. He's like, they kind of broke character a little bit. He's like, I was meaning to tell you this for a long time. We've been friends for a very long time, but I got to tell you something. I fucking hate you. And he like super kicked him and started beating the fuck out of him with a steel chair. Everyone's like, oh, the crowd was so odd, they didn't know how to react to it. And it's on the Owens DVD that I have. That thing I got from the Brew City show.
Okay.
Like, it was one of the first ones on there, how when he originally turned heel on him, and the announcers didn't know how to take it. Like, the announcers weren't saying anything. I think a lot of it is because nobody knew it was going to happen. I don't think Jim Cornette knew about it. Like, I think he just did it. And obviously El Generico knew about it because he took a huge chair shot to the head. A vicious one. Like, it's like the chair got stuck in his head. It was bad. He beat the fuck out of him. So, yeah, Kevin Owens is like on a different level. But I'm trying to think of like some other guys. Like, if how do you think like someone like
I think Sheamus would be a good one.
Sheamus? Do you think Austin would be critical on him?
No.
I'm trying to think. Maybe Cesaro.
There's nothing to be critical of with Sheamus.
Cesaro,
there's a lot.
Cesaro will never.
I don't think it would be a good interview though.
Right. But I'm trying to think of like a good one would have been like CM Punk if he could have ever gotten Punk.
Yeah.
That would have been a great one because I think they would have gone at each other a little bit. Because Punk doesn't like to be interviewed. Another one I would actually like to hear, because we hear him interview so many people and he's got such great stories. Why not Jericho?
Yeah, he'd be a very credible one too.
Right, like why can't I want to see Austin interview Jericho? I mean, we've heard Jericho interview everybody.
The two fucking podcast kings go head to head, huh?
Right. Like what
they
should interview. He should interview him and talk about where Jericho came up with the character he has now, and how many times he's changed his character. Because that's stuff I want to know about, because he doesn't talk about that on his real show. He actually doesn't talk about the stuff he does right now on his show right now.
Right.
Because he goes straight into interviews now, which is kind of cool. He doesn't go through. Austin, you have to skip like 20 minutes before you get to the real show.
Yeah, he talks about his life a little bit, what he has going on in the ranch, the tapings he has going on for whatever show he's doing at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I know we're not really covering Raw so much or SmackDown. We're just talking wrestling. I like the way how this show's going a little bit. But I don't know. Who do you think would another be one that you want to hear on the network exclusive?
The network, I think you had something with Kevin Owens one. Sheamus, I think, would just be fine. Who would be someone I'd really be looking forward to? I think Randy Orton.
That'd be good.
I think
we haven't heard him talk.
Stone Cold would be the one to do it. There was something on the WWE Network where it was like him and Renee Young. He didn't give a fuck about Renee Young, and he pretty much said as much during the interview. Like, I don't do these. Like, when you guys asked me to do this, I said no. Like, that was pretty much it. But I don't think, I think it would be a completely different thing with Randy Orton. So I think Randy Orton would be a good one.
John Cena?
No, I don't care about John Cena. John Cena says, you've heard everything John Cena has to say.
Yeah, but Austin's the guy that will kind of, what if Austin brings up the fact that he doesn't put guys over?
That'd be funny.
Or do you think the interview would go from there? Because Austin's kind of guilty of the same thing. He didn't really put a whole lot of guys over either.
He didn't have to.
Right.
But he wasn't in a position where he needed to.
Right. Because he didn't stay around to do it. He got hurt.
John Cena was in a position where he needed to, and hasn't.
Right.
You should have asked Triple H the same thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, you put no one over, ever.
Right.
Well,
he did a Triple H interview, but they talked about more about NXT and shit.
Yeah, business. Yeah.
Right. The business facts. That's not the stuff we wanted to hear.
Right.
And the Vince McMahon one was interesting because how Vince kind of buried Cesaro on his own podcast. On his own show, he buries the guy who works for him, who's supposed to draw him money, and you crushed him. Like that, I thought was like, wow, Vince, okay. I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. But, bosses bury their associates all the time. I should know more than anybody. But.
True. Very true.
Be another one. You know who I want on there that they'll never do? Russo.
That'd be JBLs. They'd probably do them.
Ooh, I don't know.
Can you imagine?
I don't know if JBL could sit in the same room.
If Russo is going to do an interview on WWE Network and they allow it, it's going to be JBL.
Right.
Because JBL is going to fucking kill him.
Yeah, because he's too goody-goody with Austin. Him and Austin are good friends. Jericho doesn't have much problems with him.
JBL is positioned to take all of the others. So,
yeah, he got Eric Bischoff, who should have been on the network, should have been on Austin's.
Austin's getting current.
Right. It used to be Austin / Foley.
/ Jericho.
It's too bad Austin didn't get Shane. They gave it to Foley, and Foley kind of fucked it up.
Yeah, who was the complete wrong one.
Right.
Yeah.
It should have been Austin. Because he didn't go into detail on why he left, which really sucked, because a lot of us want to know. That's a huge story. I don't know. Should we get into Raw?
Sure, let's get into Raw a little bit.
First, the Raw theme song. And we're back after the break.
All right, what do we got here? So it started off with an outside segment with Seth Rollins outside the arena during the day.
I saw that.
He was looking for the Demon King. So that pretty much set up him throughout the night looking for the Demon King. He was going in and out of different segments looking for the Demon King, I think they did it like 4 or 5 times. Like where he's like looking around. He was in the office with Mick Foley and Stephanie at one point looking for the Demon King. And he just couldn't find him because the Demon King was scared of Seth Rollins. So that was a thing. What are your thoughts on that?
The Seth Rollins and Finn Balor feud, I don't know. I'm not into it as much as maybe the Raw guy, maybe the Raw fans are. I think what they're doing over on SmackDown with Ambrose and Ziggler is, to me, a little bit more entertaining. I'm not a Finn Balor guy.
No,
I probably never will be. Not because of him being small. His promo last week, the taped one, that was good. When they talked about the demons and that kind of stuff, that's where he excels in. He's not good live, so they shouldn't be giving him a live microphone.
Yeah,
anytime soon. And And I think this is way too soon to put him up in the main event.
Yep, of SummerSlam.
Right.
Your second level pay-per-view.
They should have, if they were going to put anyone in that position, it probably should have been like Samoa Joe or someone who could handle it.
Who's been in the main event of a huge promotion before.
Right.
But anyway, so keep that in mind. That was kind of going on throughout the night with him looking for the Demon King, and we'll kind of get into that again later.
Before we continue, I will admit that for Raw, I fell asleep through it a couple of times, and nothing to do with the show being boring. It was because I was extremely tired.
Fair enough.
I played like 18 holes of golf, and then played a sewer ball game, and then came home to watch Raw, and I think I watched Sausage Party before I started watching Raw.
Oh Jesus!
So by the time I got home right around 10 o'clock. I turned on Raw. I fell asleep within 15 minutes. Woke up, and that was the Lesnar-Heyman thing. So as far as anything after the Finn Balor thing, I don't know if I'll know. But you can continue.
All right.
Let's see if I remember any of it.
All right. So you have the show open. You have Rusev in the middle of the ring threatening to hijack Raw.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pretty much he was pissed off about the whole thing last week between him, Lana, Roman Reigns, where Lana went through the cake, and he feels disrespected that now he has to defend his title against Roman Reigns. He talked about how Roman Reigns said nothing but opportunities and failed, and he feels disrespected by Mick Foley and blah blah blah. So he said he's not going anywhere until he gets an apology from Roman Reigns. So Mick Foley came out to the ring, who dyed his beard black now. So there's no more gray in that.
He needs to cut his hair.
It is jet black.
He needs to cut his hair.
Yeah. Can't even see his mouth. It just looks like a tuft of hair.
He needs to cut his hair.
Yep. So, and he's in all flannel now, and he has a Have a Nice Day, or, well, it's not Have a Nice Day. Have a Nice Raw shirt.
Full flannel in the middle of summer.
Yep, that's got to stink. Okay. Especially when you look homeless. But anyway, so he was trying to urge Rusev to get out of the ring. Rusev completely disrespected Foley, said he wants the real boss out there, someone who can make decisions. He wants Stephanie. And then Stephanie came out and just crushed Rusev.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Pretty much told him that he needs to respect it. Mick Foley. Mick Foley's, how many time Hall of Famer, blah, blah, blah. And then Rusev threatened to go to SmackDown.
You know what's interesting about Stephanie? I heard on the Stone Cold and Rusev podcast, Russo said that the biggest mistake that Vince McMahon ever did was giving Stephanie Russo's job. And he said to Austin, I don't like Stephanie. I hate Stephanie. I don't have any respect for her. And she is the reason why the company is the way it is. She said if anyone else was in her position for as long as her, and it wasn't Stephanie McMahon, they would have been fired. So I find that interesting that he said that directly to Austin, and Austin did not say a word back. Just change the subject. Because I don't think Austin hates Stephanie at all. Because he has a good relationship with WWE.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Part of him might agree, though.
I'm sure he does, but
he might like her as a person, but,
He's not going to say anything about it.
But,
go ahead.
Anyway, it's set up later on in the night. They were having a Defend Lana's Honor match. So
I remember hearing about that.
You had Rusev going against Roman Reigns for Lana's honor. Anyway, moving on from that, you have Sheamus versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I didn't see this at all.
So Sami Zayn picked up the win on Sheamus.
Any distraction?
Distraction from Cesaro.
Okay.
So Cesaro kind of came out there and threw the match. So there was that. It was an okay match, nothing special. We've seen this match before. We've seen every combination of these people fight that you possibly see. So my opinion overall, it was nothing new. It wasn't a bad match. They're going to put on a good match as many times as you keep on throwing them out there. It's whether or not it's entertaining. And when you keep on throwing the same people out there again, like what they did with Randy Orton and Sheamus and, Randy Orton and whoever else, Alberto Del Rio, you can only see the same thing so many times before you just don't give a fuck anymore, and they're kind of there.
I agree.
So, good match, but, next matchup you had Dudley Boys go up against the New Day.
Why?
The New Day is not doing well without Big E. Their flaws are showing, and they are only watchable as a 3-man unit. It's amazing how much Big E's absence.
Is there something legit
I don't know.
wrong with him?
I don't know.
Is he gonna come? I think he's coming back at the pay-per-view.
I would assume. But they did the whole before the match. They had Gallows and Anderson kind of doing the Dr. Gallows and Dr. Anderson thing, where they're, talking about ring postitis, making their puns, which is pretty funny. I think they were kind of in front of a bad crowd because the crowd wasn't really getting into it.
Were they wetting him? Were they wetting him?
No, there was no reaction whatsoever. No laughs, no nothing. Where they were getting a lot of laughs last week. I still thought it was funny, but it was kind of like, when you watch stand-up comedian, they tell a joke you might find funny, but if the audience isn't laughing, you're kind of like, and you're grabbing at your collar because it's like awkward.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where it was. And the same thing can be said for like the New Day when they were coming out. Like the audience really wasn't getting behind them. They got a little bit of a pop when their music hit, but then when they were talking, no one got behind them.
Okay.
So anyway, you had the New Day defeat the Dudley Boys via pinfall. So wasn't really a special match whatsoever. I really have no thoughts on the match whatsoever.
I got nothing on it.
The Dudley Boys are really just, they're there. But what's their purpose? Are they just going to be one of those teams that just job all the time now? Pretty much, yeah. They're like the legitimate tag team jobbers. Yeah. Next matchup, you have Nia Jax talent, Rachel Weeby.
Yep, don't know who that is.
Yeah, she kind of looked like Harley Quinn, like in the movie. Got tattoos and the bright colors and all that stuff and the pigtails. And they let her talk for a long time. It wasn't like she was terrible or anything, but it was really strange. She made a reference.
I think Vince was in the back saying, "Talk, damn it."
Yeah, she made a reference to the Olympics and said that she's watching Team USA, and if they can bring home all the gold, maybe she can defeat Nia Jax.
Yeah,
well,
flawless logic.
Didn't fucking happen, and Nia Jax killed her. And some of the moves, like some of it, looked really fucking bad. Like at one point, she had the Weeby girl on the top rope, like just sitting in the middle of not on the turnbuckle, just sitting on the top, like middle of the rope, on the very top, and she just kicked her off the top of the rope, and she fell.
See, this is this filler shit that I was talking about earlier. That you mentioned the two things that would have put forward through that I wouldn't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Nia Jax?
She's built like a trash can.
I think she sucks.
She's built like a trash can, and she looks like she's wearing a trash bag.
I'm talking about her in-ring.
She's not very good.
I think she sucks.
Why is she different than Tamina?
Right. She's The Rock's cousin.
Isn't Tamina probably somehow?
They're all cousins.
Yeah.
That was racist.
It's true.
Yeah.
Except for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe made it extremely clear he is not related to any of them. Like, he wanted that to be known. In every interview, he pretty much was like, yeah, my name might be Samoa Joe, but I'm Samoan. I have nothing to do with any of them.
Correct.
He's not part of the Anuioi family or whatever, so yeah. Next up, we have Big Cass versus Kevin Owens. I should mention earlier in the night, they had a promo, or they had a backstage interview with Tom Phillips, who's getting a lot of TV time now. Holy shit, Tom Phillips is on TV a lot.
That's because the roster split.
Yeah, and
Renee Young's on SmackDown.
Yeah, so pretty much in the whole promo, they kept on talking, and Kevin Owens was finishing Chris Jericho's sentences, and Chris Jericho was finishing Kevin Owens' sentences. And when Tom Phillips would ask a question, they would always say, well, you know what? At one point they called Robert. They called him Joseph, Tim. One of them. Fuck, I can't remember. Like one, I think they were like, well, Alexander, and they like had like extremely like ridiculous names. Like it went from like one syllable names like Joe, Tim. It got more and more absurd by the end. Like, well, Ezekiel. It was like ridiculous. Like seriously. But they were going on, and then like at the very end of it, Like they were like grabbing the microphone. Tom Phillips was holding it, and they were like tipping it towards like one another while they were talking because they were standing on each side of him. And then Chris Jericho said what he had to say, and then Kevin Owens tipped the microphone towards him and just walked off. He didn't say anything. That was it for the interview. So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Are they going to go over Big Cass and Enzo?
I hope so.
Or do you think Owens is going to turn on Jericho? Jericho's going to turn on Owens?
I don't think Jericho's going to turn on Owens because he's happy to have help.
Right.
So,
but he could totally, because he's just as bad as a narcissist as Owens is.
So you have Big Cass defeat Kevin Owens via disqualification when Jericho gets involved. It was kind of a clusterfuck towards the end of the match. Fairly good match though. Kevin Owens looked strong in the match, and he probably should have went over clean. But considering he lost via disqualification, I think they're going to. I kind of feel like they might win at the pay-per-view, but I don't know.
But my problem with that is, what's your purpose with Enzo and Big Cass if you're gonna put a random two guys together, random thing together?
I think
unless you're gonna keep Jericho and Owens together to the point where you're gonna push them to the top of the tag division, like you're gonna actually make them a tag team.
Yeah, but you have Gallows and Anderson you're trying to do that with too as a power heel team, and they're probably gonna get the belts.
But I'm just saying, like, what's your end game? Like, why put them over Enzo and Big Cass?
You continue the feud.
Okay.
You're giving both of them something to do.
So your goal is you're gonna put them in a legit program with each other. Like this
Correct.
isn't a one-off.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a legit.
So my question is, what would be your end game? Enzo and Big Cass would have to go over, right, in the feud?
I think eventually, yeah. I think you either or you just make it one of those you completely forget about things and it's all just been filler.
Put a 4-way. I'm thinking they might even go with a 4-way tag match.
You do that.
And they'll put those two in, and that's how you get them the tag titles. Maybe Anderson and Gallows don't get it at this pay-per-view because of Big E coming back and helping New Day win.
Yeah.
And then you have New Day defend the title in the 4-way, maybe make a tag elimination, and then you have Jericho Owens go over that way.
You could do that. Protect a lot of people that way too.
Right.
Next up, you have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Too far here. I skipped all the way to the bottom. I'm getting excited. You have the newly reunited primetime players.
That's when I woke up. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Versus the Shining Stars.
Yeah.
The Shining Stars went over in the match. So apparently there was like some pre-show segment or something on the WWE Network where they decided to reunite.
Because Bob Backlund said he was going to suck his dick.
Good. All right. So
Darren Young's. And Titus O'Neil was jealous because no one's going to suck his brother's dick but him.
Okay. It's kind of frightening.
Some incest shit going on with those two. That's the only way I'm going to get interested in this feud.
It was a pretty good match, believe it or not.
Fast forward, that would be me there. So there's another 40 minutes of Raw I'm glad I've missed.
At one point, Titus O'Neil was distracted by Bob Backlund when he was on the apron, waiting to be tagged, and he got what's his face? Darren Young got thrown into Titus O'Neil. And he fell to the mat, and then Titus O'Neil was kind of like, what the fuck? So he ran into the ring and gave of the Titus.
Yeah. Before we went live today, Rob showed me like a 30-minute video of Titus O'Neil.
It was 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Titus O'Neil, Clash of the Titans, for like...
Clash of the Titus.
Whatever. For like 45, 60 minutes. And I was watching my hand, and he did a good one to the Big Show. So like, I think, what is it, the Sky High or the Lowdown? What's the name of that move that D'Lo Brown does?
Yeah.
It's the same move. D'Lo does it better, though.
I don't know.
He does. Why?
Stick out? You're gonna stick
yes. D'Lo does it better because he spins.
Because it looks fucking brutal when Titus O'Neil does it.
I would say that I always liked it when D'Lo did it.
Like it would kill you.
So is D'Lo's.
Well, D'Lo only paralyzed someone.
D'Lo actually killed somebody. I mean, like
he killed Droz.
He killed Droz, and then he killed Owen Hart.
He did a fucking lowdown from a goddamn rope or whatever. That's awesome.
That was right before Benoit turned heel.
What?
Well, Benoit turned heel. He did the little family incident where he just, accidentally. Well, he didn't accidentally.
What a fucking heel turn.
Yeah, he turned heel.
Imagine if this was all at work.
I thought it was a work. It is a work. And then Benoit realized that, oh, shit, maybe I took this a little too far. And then he, and he was like, you know what? That'd make a good ending to the story. It's going to put Tommy Dreamer over.
What? Anyway, Shining Stars defeat primetime players after Titus turns on Darren. Jinder Mahal versus Neville. I really don't have an opinion of this match one way or another. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a good match. It was a match.
It was the match.
It was a match. Kind of struggled to hit the right green arrow, red arrow, whatever the hell it is.
Neville, it's red arrow.
Red arrow. There we go. Okay, he kind of struggled.
Which is also a name of a superhero.
He you know how he usually just gets up to the top rope and he just jumps right into it?
Mm-hmm.
This one, he stood there, hesitated. And
He's
then
probably
he kind of
scared
started,
to do it now
because
of his injury.
He kind of started to swing his arms and then he went into it. But it was a noticeable stall. It was really weird. Like, if you go back and watch anything from Raw, watch the Clash of the Titus.
I already did. I watched it for 45 minutes today.
So,
it's a good movie, by the way. It's better than Suicide Squad.
Somewhere in here, I don't remember at what point in the show, but it was kind of towards the end. I believe it was after this match. You had Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman go down to the ring. Paul Heyman starts talking. Immediately, he's interrupted by Heath Slater. Immediately. The number one free agent.
The number one free agent. He's got even a T-shirt that says that.
Yup. Which is awesome. Immediately, he's interrupted.
I'm going to wear that shirt when I get fired.
One free agent?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I go to interviews.
Number one free agent here.
I'm going to talk about
MVP's gimmick?
No, he was the highest paid free agent.
Whatever. Fuck him.
He was the highest paid athlete.
Yeah.
He was like a baller. He'd come out and go, baller, or whatever. Fucking balling or rolling or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't speak MVPs.
Racist. But
no, I don't know what he is. Like, I don't, it's like a completely different, race.
Just MVP.
It's
the
MVP.
Race of MVP.
Tavius Porter. God. Remember that? Do you remember when Triple H buried him?
Yes.
When he called him, because he said, I'm the number one highest paid athlete on this roster. And he said, well, WWE wasted a lot of money on that one. Live microphone. I'm like, that's, we need to get Triple H over just this one last time.
Yeah, just one more in there, one more shot.
Yeah. Let's have him beat the World Heavyweight Champion at Roadblock next. He's 49.
I think he'll get another title run.
Probably will.
I'm pretty sure he signed like a 3-year deal. He just signed like three year.
Yeah, he's going to do 3 more matches. He's going to wrestle The Undertaker, and then he's going to wrestle Brock Lesnar, and he's going to beat him. And then he's going to wrestle. He's going to wrestle Brock Lesnar in an I Quit match in a steel cage UFC style match, which he's going to win. Kings. And then he will defeat the Demon King, Finn Balor, and he'll be the king of the Demon Kings.
So he's Satan.
He's going to be like the Mega King.
Well, Triple H should just come out and his little scary mask symbol thing that he has is like his King of Kings symbol or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Finn Balor should come out first. Well, he'd be coming out first to the ring anyway if he was going up against Triple H.
Wouldn't it be funny if when they did the draft, if SmackDown would have drafted Triple H?
Holy shit! Yeah. Talk about the #1 free agent. Yeah, it's Triple H right now.
Yeah, like Triple H would be, he's the COO of the WWE, and he is a active performer on SmackDown, so he's Shane's boss, and Shane is his boss. And he's also Stephanie's boss.
So confusing.
Well, because Stephanie's real title is head writer, head this, head that.
She's like
head of talent. She's like,
no, that's Triple H.
No, Triple H is talent relations. Triple H is like in charge of bringing people in and that kind of stuff. Stephanie's in charge.
Live events.
Right.
She's in charge of brand something or another.
Right, and she's also like
she's the chief brand officer.
She's also the head writer of the shows.
Yeah, I think her title is chief brand officer.
Right. But now she's commissioner, which she stepped down a bit.
Yeah, right, quite a bit. All the way. But
she's the commissioner's back in town. Bang bang.
Yeah,
she should wear a cowboy hat.
She's now HBK's rank.
That joke of a position when HBK had it.
Or he was fucking high off his ass.
Or when Sergeant Slaughter had it, no one gave a fuck. Talk about a Joe commissioner, or the most recent one, Maddox.
Brad Maddox.
Brad Maddox.
I think he was his general. Was he commissioner?
He was general manager. Same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the difference between commissioner and general manager. Did they even establish what's the difference? What does the commissioner do that the general manager can't do besides fire himself?
Shouldn't the commissioner technically be over both brands? Because you have a commissioner of a sport.
They should have left the name COO like they originally did, and then he changed it to commissioner. And when Vince did that, I don't know if that was part of the show. I think he just said it, and they had to say fuck it and go with it. Because they were saying COO the entire night, and for like 2 weeks, all of a sudden Vince said, the commissioner. I'm like,
yeah, like Gorilla Monsoon. But, yeah, so where were we? Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
Anyway, so essentially it all boiled down to they told poor Heath Slater, I don't know why they're trying to torture Heath Slater, but they told Heath Slater that the only way he'd get a Raw contract is if he would defeat Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one match that night. So
Lesnar actually had a match?
Yes.
Nice. He wrestled for the first time on Raw, right?
It wasn't really a match. It was kind of supposed to be something resembling one. So anyway, Paul Heyman kept on blowing him off, not taking him seriously. So Paul Heyman was like, redirect the camera, put the money in this shot. And he pointed to Brock Lesnar and himself. He's like, here's where you need to aim the camera right now. And then they switched the whole camera angle over to the two of them. He's like, anyway, this Sunday, SummerSlam, you have the Beast, Brock Lesnar, going out to the ring to fight. And then you hear Heath Slater scream at the top of his lungs over the microphone, hey! And even the cameraman shook because he was startled. And they cut back over to Heath Slater. And he was pointing at Paul Heyman, don't you disrespect me.
I have 7 kids.
Be on here. I don't want to have to fight Brock Lesnar. I know I'm about to get my ass kicked, but I have children. I have children I need to take care of. I have my 2 daughters and all my other ones. And he's going on. And he's talking and talking and talking. And then Brock Lesnar actually got the mic from Paul Heyman. And was like, you know what? I respect this. You said you have some kids and you're trying to feed them. I respect that. Here, come on in the ring. And then Brock Lesnar had to get in the ring. He's like, you're the provider for the kids. Heath Slater says, correct. You got to take care of them. You got to put food on the table. You got to put, you're trying to be a supportive dad, blah, blah, blah. Correct. You said you got children. I got children too. And then Heath Slater got a little bit closer. Heath Slater and told him, I don't give a shit about your kids. You have 2 options right now. You can get out of the ring under your own power right now, or you can stand right where you are and keep on pissing me off. And then he just stood there and was standing and staring down at Heath Slater. Heath Slater turned around and walked away from Brock Lesnar. And then he turned around quickly and was going to charge Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar clotheslined the fucking head off of Heath Slater.
Oh boy.
And then picked Heath Slater up, suplex, which looked like it paralyzed him. And then he picked him up again and gave him another German suplex. And Heath Slater bounced off his neck and went right onto his feet. And then Brock Lesnar picked him up and nice turkey, F5'd him, and then kicked him the fuck out of the ring and continued the promo. Heath Slater lost.
Nice.
So, as for the rest of the thing here, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson go over the Golden Truth. What is going on? you have a turkey sound effect thing, or?
It's one ripped ass turkey.
What the fuck is going on?
It's Brock Lesnar if he was a turkey. This is the Brock Lesnar of turkeys. So I have this app that has many different turkey songs. I got a yelp, a cluck, a cutting, a purr, a putt, a cluck and purr, a gobble, an adult hen assembly sound, an excited yelp, a tree yelp, and a fly down.
Okay.
Those are the different kinds of gobbles I have, and this is the excited yelp.
That's pretty excited.
Look how pissed off this turkey looks. It's a fucking Brock Lesnar turkey.
Yeah, steroids and all. Jesus Christ. Maybe that's why Brock Lesnar failed his test. He ate one of those.
Big ass steroid turkey. All right, what's next?
All right, we have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson against Golden Truth. Terrible fucking match, but Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson go over, hitting their finisher on it. Terrible match, though. Really bad fucking match. New Day ends up coming out at the very end of it after Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson already defeated the Golden Truth, and they kind of jumped them from behind. And then Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston was holding Carl Anderson down in the ring, and Xavier had his legs held wide open, and Xavier Woods picked up Francesca and was going to destroy his testicles with Francesca, and then Luke Gallows pulled Carl Anderson out of the way at the last minute. So that was kind of funny, but that was that. Alicia Fox against Charlotte. I fast forwarded that match because I already knew what the end result was going to be. Charlotte went over. At the end of it, she called Sasha Banks over to the side.
Hey, in the back, the there's a hurricane coming through.
Yeah.
But with like a drum.
And this is now we go into our hurricane segment of the day.
I think they just had a hurricane in Florida just a day ago or so.
They had that riot in Milwaukee.
Don't even get me started on that.
This is the riot podcast.
I could go off for 2 hours just about that. Anyway, we have Roman Reigns versus Rusev. A fucking fantastic match. It was a really good match. Good. Like I recommend, like, if you're listening to this and you didn't watch Raw, you didn't watch SmackDown, I recommend this is one thing.
Then you saved 5 hours of your life. You saved
5 hours of your life, but go back and take 20 minutes of it and watch this match because it was really fucking good. Rusev against Roman Reigns. This was a pay-per-view quality match. Like, they have their work cut out for them on Sunday with them having to outdo this match. Roman Reigns defeated Rusev via pinfall. He hit the spear on Rusev. That was that. But it was going back and forth for a while. And Roman Reigns actually pulled away from Accolade. He blocked it once. And then he actually forced a rope break on the Accolade towards the end of it. Because they positioned it that you thought he was going to tap. And then at the very I'm like, wow, they're really trying to punish him, aren't they? Because I didn't foresee him making it to the rope. And then he started pulling towards the rope. I'm like, oh, are they going to do the whole psychological thing where, Rusev is teasing him with the rope and then pulls him back and he taps? Nope. Roman Reigns forced the rope break. As soon as that happened, he pretty much hit the spear immediately and won the match. But I'm still enjoying the new Roman Reigns. Like, it's...
They giving him the title?
think he walks away U.S. champion.
Oh, God.
I think they're going to continue this because him and Rusev have damn good chemistry. This is what Rusev needs. This is good for Rusev and Roman Reigns. They both look good in this. So I say easily match of the night here. Even the site that I'm on is giving this match an A+ rating.
Yeah.
Everyone is giving this like a 5-star or 10-star or A+. Like, this was a fucking good match. Period. So I don't know. Did you watch the whole thing?
I fast forwarded a lot because I just wanted to see.
I think go back and watch it.
Right. I
Honestly,
probably will.
go back and watch this match. Like, it was good.
To me, I didn't care that they were fighting because they're already going to fight the pay-per-view.
Correct.
That's why I didn't care about it.
I didn't expect much of this match at first because I'm like, well, this is pointless. They're probably going to have Rusev win this one, or they're going to, whatever they might do. But like, this was a good match.
Oh, I always know that Rusev puts on great matches. Rusev's a really good worker, and Roman Reigns isn't terrible. He's just not. He's just not. I think our reasons why we dislike him, how we used to dislike him, was his position of where he was and how the fact that he was put as the main event because Vince McMahon said this is the next John Cena, and we don't want another John Cena.
Right.
And that's how he was being booked. So I still don't like Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Fuck him. But I mean,
one other thing from the night, they debuted the Demon, Finn Balor's Demon on Raw.
Yeah.
Gave that away. Made that not special, and it was tacky. It worked in the NXT arena. It does not work in a main arena. That's what I thought was going to happen. Crowd didn't really receive it too well. Yeah. Okay. All right. So other than that, Jon Stewart is going to be at SummerSlam.
Again?
Yeah.
Is he going to screw over Seth Rollins?
So
I noticed that Seth Rollins actually brought up his name too. So that he's better than Jon Stewart, like his random feud with Jon Stewart.
Yep.
All right. Is that it for Raw?
That is it for Raw.
Are we moving on to SmackDown?
As we cracked the 1 hour and 32-minute mark.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll play our theme into SmackDown. The reason I played that is because SmackDown does kind of feel like TNA. So I played Tess and Albert's theme there. The real TNA.
Yeah.
So SmackDown kicks off with a Miz TV segment. And I thought this was pretty good. Miz starts saying, welcome to the must-see, blah, blah, blah. And is immediately cut off by Dean Ambrose, who was immediately cut off by Dolph Ziggler. So they did like a complete disrespect of each other. And then you have them kind of cutting promos. Miz trying to like, you know what I mean, by trying to like get the two to kind of fight, but he didn't need to, because the one thing I do like about this feud is I feel like there is legitimate heat between Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. It's two guys who the company originally never really saw as main stars when they first got them. Dean Ambrose, I always thought was going to be kind of a utility kind of player. Mm-hmm. And Dolph Ziggler was a guy they were going to get behind. And they, how many times have they pushed him and give up, push and give up, push and fall,
over
push
and
and fall.
over and over.
Right. So we've seen it so many times that we're sick of it. And they acknowledge that. And that's the one thing I like about this feud. You have Ambrose for the first time is talking about how he is going to Ziggler was talking about how that I am better than you. I'm going to be better than you. I'm going to shut you up. And Ambrose is like, no, you're not. You're going to be just like you've always been. You're going to fall flat like you always do. That you can never win the big one there, kiddo. and then called him rookie. And so then with Ziggler cut like really deep, talked about that you're going to have to, like, this match means more to me than it means to you, that you're trying to defend it. I'm going to win championship. So when you beat me down, because you're going to beat up on me, you're going to make me probably bleed. I'm going to be in a pool of my own blood, and I'm going to break out of my pool of my own blood. And then you're going to hit me with everything you have. And when you're thinking about that one thing, I'm going to kick out. I'm going to get to the ropes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And there's no way you're going to actually put me away. You're probably going to kick my ass. I know that. But I know there's one thing that I can do that you're not going to be able to do, and I'm never going to stay down. And he's like, to the point where he's like, you're going to come down to your one move. You're going to come down to one move, the one last move you're going to do. And then he super kicks Dean Ambrose. And then he's like, and then you're going to realize that I am that damn good, and drops the mic and walks away. So I thought it was good. And I would say I would say that this is something that if you're going to go back and watch SmackDown, this opening segment was good. Very good.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out on YouTube.
So after that, we go into a whatever 12-man tag. They pretty much put the whole SmackDown tag division, which I noticed something. SmackDown actually has a tag division with no tag titles. They actually have more tag teams than Raw, but these are the guys that could be good. They've never done anything with them on Raw. You have the Vaudevillains, who I've said time and time before could be a really good tag team if utilized correctly. You have the Ascension, which me and you were fans of.
Oh, they were awesome in NXT.
Right.
Too late now.
They could, well, maybe not. With the expanded rosters. Breezango, who, they're going to be their role. But again, another team I could see, getting a little bit of a run. The Hype Bros, fuck them. Gives a fuck about the Hype Bros.
This is exactly what we were talking about, by the way. In the beginning of the match. Or beginning of the show. Beginning of the match. This is all the fat that got cut from Raw.
These aren't the bad. These guys weren't getting TV time anyways on Raw.
Okay, what is this?
It's air hockey.
It's just random people playing air hockey?
No, it's just computer versus computer air hockey.
Oh, okay.
It's a screensaver. But what's funny about the screensaver is it goes until you press a button. So I one time watched it go up to like 10,000. I sat and watched it for like 2 hours.
This is absurd.
Right. It just goes back and forth. And one of the guys like sucks. So anyways, you have the Usos, which fuck the Usos. Whatever. That what I would consider is the fat that they cut from Raw. And then American Alpha, which is the saving grace of the whole tag division, who they're probably going to give the tag titles to, which I don't think they should right away.
No.
I look at this tag division of like the guys they got, and if I'm going to give up a tag team championship, you know who I give it to? The Ascension. You immediately legitimize them, and then you make 2 tag teams out of that. You make American Alpha, which already has credibility, and then the Ascension, because they talked about their long reign on NXT. They mentioned it. Morrow mentioned it, and when they came down, their little graphic, because they actually got an entrance, which was fucking awesome, actually said held the NXT tag titles for 374 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they acknowledge it. So maybe. There's still maybe a chance that they might get something.
Yeah.
Now here comes the best part of the night. Well, not the best part, but the funny part. Eva Marie versus Naomi. Naomi gets a new entrance. She's babyface. It's like some kind of like light up techno shit or whatever. I thought when I first thought, I'm like, oh, is this Carmella's new entrance? Because I saw I don't know why, I just saw someone dancing. You don't see her at all. All you see is like the shit.
Right, they're taking advantage of the fact that she's very dark skinned.
Glad you said that, not me.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Eva Marie got her ridiculous entrance as usual, and then they said she will not be here at the end of all of it, like Glazzling, get ready for the stunning, blah, blah, blah. And because she got stuck in a traffic jam. So that was the end of that. It was canceled due to traffic. And then JBL was like, oh, the traffic is terrible here. I barely got here on time. He was defending it, so that was kind of cool. Randy,
There's the fat that got cut from Raw. JBL. Hi, JBL.
we still got Marl though.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Trade